If you're here, I'm guessing it is because your Socionist friend sent this to you and urged you to watch it. Or this video was recommended to you and you were interested. Or you know about Socionics already and watch all of my videos. I actually don't know why you're here. You're here because you saw a YouTube video and then you clicked on it. Anyway, yeah, this is a brief introduction to Socionics. Hope you enjoy. Before I go into the details, I'd like to give a quick overview of what Socionics is and is not. Socionics is a system for categorizing people into different personality types. This is done by looking at patterns in their motivations and cognition. A source of deep practical advice in most aspects of life, ranging from interpersonal relationships to emotional management to one's career path. A perspective by which the world, life, society, and culture can be viewed. Not Myers-Briggs or a slight variant of it. The ethos of Myers-Briggs is relatively unscientific and misguided, and the theory behind it is very different. They do, however, share similar roots. Not a science. While Socionics is useful and its conclusions correlate with reality, not all aspects of its theory are empirically validated. Not a pseudoscience. Competent Socionists recognize that Socionics is not a science, thus they do not treat it like one. Many are trying to bring it closer to empirical reality, but are aware that it has not yet reached this point. Now I'll get into the details and I'll also explain other common misconceptions so that you don't have to learn them the hard way. Under the system of Socionics, there are 16 different personality types. Each of these types has different strengths, values, and weaknesses. Each type's properties directly result from its theoretical structure. Based on identifying patterns in each individual component, Socionists can identify the general character of each type. This general character is often referred to as the type image. This type image reflects the roles that each type is most likely to play in society. Each type is also more likely to get along in a certain way with each other type. This is determined by the mathematical structure of each type. The rules that determine this are called intertype relations. However, because this aspect of Socionics is more distant from empirical reality, it may be best to take it with a grain of salt. One important thing to keep in mind, Socionics is not always accurate, nor does it claim to be. Socionics is not comprehensive. It does not explain the fundamental neurological causes behind personality. It is not a science, but a collection of practical archetypes, a self-help tool, and an interesting way of seeing the world. Socionics is still useful. Despite its inevitable imperfections, its observations have a strong correlation with reality. Socionics is best as a rule of thumb. It is powerful, but it has notable exceptions. It should be used as one perspective of multiple others, and its claims should be disregarded in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary. So how does Socionics work? According to Socionics, there are 16 ways to process information. These are called information elements. For example, Ni-, one of the 16 information elements, envisions multiple possible futures. It does this by pulling associations from the subconscious and extrapolating upon them. Each type uses each of these elements differently. Each element is placed into a different slot in each type. These slots are called functional positions. For example, the identity position is the strongest, most valued, and most difficult to disobey the conclusions of. The element within it is effectively always on. So what would a type with Ni- in the identity position look like? This would be a person who is always using incoming information to predict various possible futures, as well as adjusting the algorithms they use to make those predictions. Such a person would be exceptionally good at doing those things. They would use these conclusions above all else to make decisions, making them a cautious, far-seeing person. The vast majority of Socionists, whether novice, intermediate, or advanced, overestimate the depth at which they understand Socionics. The only way to avoid this is to explicitly remember this fact and periodically temper your confidence until you are more experienced. Socionics is often more complicated than it appears. Ask experts for their opinion. Some can be found in the Discord server in the description. They will help relay to you a more nuanced view. Even if you don't use Socionics to make major decisions, misunderstanding it can be harmful. For example, if you think you're a type that you aren't, this is referred to as mistyping. You will subconsciously define yourself as having different strengths and values than you do, making your self-perception less accurate and your decisions less sound. Until you gain experience, do not become attached to your current understanding. Chances are it'll keep changing. It may continue to change significantly for years, and you will always have something to learn. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if all you're thinking about is what's my type. The most common way people determine their own type is researching descriptions and theories and using these resources to figure out which type fits them best over time. This doesn't usually work. While we tend to perceive dynamic, surface-level traits in ourselves, the traits that type affect are much deeper. It is even common for those who feel certain of their type to be wrong. It is better to be typed by an experienced Socionist. We can do this for a small fee if you are interested. If not, that's fine too. I fully encourage anyone watching this video to take their time and become more familiar with Socionics before committing to anything. This is all I have for now. Next, I'll post a video outlining the 16 types for beginners. I plan for this to become a series because there is a lot of inconsistent information online, making it almost impossible for beginners to gain a stable foundation. If you'd like to learn more without wasting time, subscribe and stay tuned. There is also a wealth of information in the 7th Circle Discord server. If you'd like to join, I've posted a link in the description. If you would like a deeper beginner's explanation of any aspect of Socionics, please leave a comment and I will probably include that video in the series.